Hey Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Retro Apocalypse, the Ancient Evil, Mal Ancestral, Mach Tiger Mutant, Antiguoviano, and Viao Impiestoso. I kind of like Mach Tiger, that's kind of awesome. This is Marvel's Apocalypse, which is, of course, in the traditional Toy Biz blister card packaging. I do not have an well, I've got the old Toy Biz Build-A-Figure Apocalypse, the big giant one, but I don't have a more standard-sized Apocalypse. I didn't get the Build-A-Figure that came out a few years ago. I can't remember why. I don't know if there weren't enough figures in that wave that I wanted or what. Marvel's Apocalypse. Look upon the future and tremble. He is Apocalypse, the world's most powerful mutant, and from the ashes of our world he will build a better one. I love these, and especially these big giant ones on this, really thick, nice carding. This is just a striking figure, and it's almost a little hard for me to open it because it looks so good in this giant blister card, but I need an Apocalypse. This one has tons of purple, which I'm a fan of that. And also tons of accessories, so I'm kind of curious to see how all of this is going to work. This one, it's already kind of started on the side here, so not a big deal to open. Yeah, don't ever try to just pull the blister off of one of these. That is not how they work. This one is actually opening kind of like a book. And look at that. Kind of cool. Got two interior trays, a little bit of paperwork, we'll leave that where it is. There's a lot to this figure. I'm actually pretty blown away because I did not realize just how much he was. Because sometimes these retro releases are a little bare bones. It's kind of like, well, here's the figure and maybe an extra hand or something. But this one, they really went all out with this. This is, coloration aside, potentially sort of the ultimate version of Apocalypse. I know a lot of people may not want the purple, but of course, as I said, that's my preference. I like a good purple action figure. Extra head, extra hands. I mean, this is a deluxe figure. I gotta say, for the price, which I'll be honest right now, I cannot remember exactly how much he was. I think he might have been one of those coupon deals on Amazon, which, by the way, if you don't know, Amazon is pretty consistently putting these coupons on Hasbro and Mattel and different kinds of action figures and toys where you can get just really crazy deals. So keep an eye out for that. What I like to do is put a bunch of stuff on a list. I have a Marvel Legends list. I have a wrestling list. I've got just a regular list. And I kind of check in on it every day and just take a look and see if prices are dropping on things. So this is a big, heavy, impressive figure. Love this furious, teeth-gritted portrait. Look at the gums on that guy. Great sculpt, beautifully executed paint. Everything is very, very clean. Think about, years ago, how much slop we just kind of accepted as, well, that's how action figures are. And now we're getting these just immaculate paint jobs on so many of the figures we get. And I'm not saying that there aren't still errors from time to time, but for the most part, figure quality right now is just absolutely incredible. We couldn't have dreamed of figures being this perfectly executed, just 5 years ago, maybe. So he is a big boy, obviously. Comes in at just over 8 inches tall. And I had originally thought that he would be very similar to this one. Not quite a repaint, but I had no idea there would be this much different tooling between these two figures. This is my son's Age of Apocalypse that I didn't get. I'm just not a fan of Age of Apocalypse. But you can see, we've got a hand and a fist in common because he's got the alternate fists on this one. But torso, completely different. Or at least, okay. No, it is, because this is actually tooling on the torso here. So the torso is completely different. He has this belt piece. The knees are different. The boots and the feet might be... Nope, feet are different. Tons of new tooling on this guy. And he is very much a more traditional look aside from the purple. And I'll be honest with you right now, I'm not even sure where the purple comes from. I don't remember if he was purple in the animated series. I honestly don't even remember him being depicted on the animated series. I'm sure he was, because they got around to pretty much everybody. But I just like this look. And if they reissued this with a blue instead of the purple, I think people would buy him all over again. So let's take a look at the accessory. Oh, and I mean, articulation-wise, is there any point in even talking about Marvel Legends articulation? We all know he's got the double-jointed knees, and it is not pinless. We're not quite to the point where everything is pinless, but we've got the ratcheting joints. Everything you expect out of a Marvel Legends figure. I do like that the ab crunch, which I would like it if we could move away from this style ab crunch and go more towards the ball-jointed waist, with perhaps a combination of the ball joint up here. But honestly, that's not even necessary to me. But here, barely noticeable from the front. It looks great. And you can see this, his shoulder pads are a piece attached underneath here, so they actually work very nicely. They've got a little mobility and flexibility, but they're pretty firm and they stay in place nicely. And then this collar piece is also separate, but attached to his torso. So overall, just a great look. He does have a waist joint underneath that belt, but as you can see, that's actually kind of great, though, because it's a cut joint. So if that belt wasn't there, you'd have that really ugly breaking up of the profile, but the belt covers it up when you use that waist joint. So that's nice as well. Let's get his tubes plugged in that are purely oh, look at this cool design thing. And these are, there we go, nice segmented tubes. They're just plastic. They're not like bendy or anything, which is fine with me because then there's less chance of them breaking over time. I don't know that I'll ever be a fan of bendy stuff. And you can see there's a little ridge where it plugs in, so these will stay in place once you get them in there. So go ahead and just plug those into his back. I'm assuming the L portion goes into his back. That just makes more sense. And then again, you've got that ridge. It'll plug into the arm. Oh, that stays put really well. That's great. Again, this would not have worked as well 30 years ago. And you've got the tubes and you can actually turn those so that they sort of hang down and give you a little cooler look there. That's great. Oh, he looks awesome. Very happy with this guy. All right, so this, the default pretty much. But then we've got some other accessories. We've got an alternate portrait with closed mouth, grumpy face. All that paint looks just as good on this one. I don't know which one of these I'm going to use because that actively furious face is great, but I do like the sort of somber, contemplative Apocalypse. In Sabanur, if you will. So he's also got this arm cannon. Wow. This is wild. So you remove that hand, and you've got a peg inside the cannon. Oh man, look at that. How cool is that? So the peg... Oh, does that actually... Wow. This is some very cool engineering. So he is definitely getting displayed with the arm cannon just because I appreciate how they executed that. That does pop into place. There's a the peg works the same as these with the little ridge to keep everything in place. And then that hose plugs in to the bottom of the cannon. So now it is completely just part of him. I just, from a toy design aesthetic standpoint, I wish the cannon was blue, but I'm sure whatever source material they're using for this apocalypse, this is correct, so it's fine. I'm not bothered. And then you've got a blast effect that will plug into, I guess, either one of these holes. We'll just put it in the top one because we also have two little tiny blast effects that I believe are recolored from a Black Widow set that came out. And we'll just plug those into those smaller cannons. You know what? It'll be a lot easier if I do these first. So those plug in. They're a little pointy. This is slightly painful to push them into place. That's okay. We must suffer for our toy art. And we get this really wild blaster effect. Man, this is absolutely... You know what? I think he needs a fist on that other hand. The open hand is not conveying the fury and rage with which he is blasting this projectile. Look at that. Apocalypse in all of his purple and blue glory. Very, very happy with this figure. You know, I don't get super excited about Marvel Legends anymore. Partly because of the price point, but partly because there's just not a ton of innovation to be had in the line. But when there is, like I've said it before, when Hasbro's Marvel Legends team nails it, they really nail it. And I gotta say, with this Apocalypse, this is a fantastic figure. They did a great job on this one. And I think it's kind of flying under the radar right now because there's so much other stuff coming out. But he is available. I'll put a link in the description. You can check it out there. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things. Check out our t-shirts. And come back for more toy reviews. I will conquer all.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.